our industrial world actually has a particular type of logic. It's built on the idea of mass consumption, mass production, mass sort of media. It's a business model of scale, and it's very linear in the way that it does all these things. Whereas actually nature is not like that. Nature is more connected, it flows, it's more like an ecology where all sorts of sort of elements of the world that we live in, and there's a great debate about nature at the moment and what we're doing to it with our industrial world, how it works. So why is that relevant for all of us in this room, and based on the sort of presentations that have been made earlier on today? Because this, in fact, is a cartography, a map, if you will, that is made up of the hundreds, thousands, millions and billions of social interactions and transactions that happen on a daily basis. Nokia says, I think by 2015, 5 billion of us on this planet will be connected by a mobile device. That's a 100-fold increase in network traffic. And also they said in the same presentation that by 2012, 25% of all the media that is created on this planet will be made by us. On top of that, we see that data is exploding. In 2006, 161 billion gigabytes of data was created. We can see that by 2010, we've got 988 billion gigabytes of data. What's the etymology of the word communication? Well, that word is communion. It's about coming together, sharing together, and transcending together. And these are some of the major forces that we as sort of existing organizations are in conflict with, because the way that we see the world, the way that we think of our business models, the way that we are going to create things, potentially doesn't allow people to be part of that transcendence in a rich variety of ways. There are fundamental principles about human nature, and we see these things really succeeding all around the world. And so I think any device that is going to enable us to share knowledge and information, to be able to create things together, to share those things, to be able to create commerce together, or other types of information production will succeed. I would say that brands in this world, or businesses in this world, or organizations in this world have to be three things. They have to be life-enabling, life-simplifying, or navigational, i.e. help me navigate through my life better, help me navigate through this enormous amount of data that is exploding around me and find the stuff that's most relevant for me. And it's not that, you know, sort of the badge on our BMW is still not as relevant, or the badge on my Nikes, but we are looking at a very different type of currency and a very different type of value. And when technology is really successful, it disappears. Mobile health, there's a thing called 3G Doctor, where in fact actually I can upload all of my medical information onto my phone. I can have a 24/7 phone service. And for many people that have very complex medical conditions, for example, the ability for me to video conference with a doctor, or for that information to be shared with various emergency services, were I to be in difficult circumstances, could be transformational for me. Not just in terms of saving my life, but perhaps giving me a richer life and allowing me to do things and go places and experience things which I'd never been able to do because I wouldn't have been able to take that information with me and be connected to something that could really enable me. We can, for example, also think about how we give data to people and perhaps how they can use their data in protecting their own privacy. Privacy rules give people the willies. It upsets them, it worries them. But the reality is that we can use data in more creative and valuable ways by actually saying to people, you are in charge of your data. These are the tools that allow you to interact with vendors in ways where you can actually have more meaningful relationships. Because I would say that people need brands and brands need people. It's just that in today's world, we need to help those brands and those people find each other when they need each other the most. We need to think about the fact that we have transformed from an industrial society to a network society. We need to think about the fact that we don't have 30 million subscribers. We have people that need services, that we need help in navigating through stuff. We need to think about that we are networks of networks, either virtually or even hyper-locally. And how do we give value to that? On top of that, we are actually, I think, as consumers, looking for a very different type of experience. And I think that we all need to be green. We need to understand that. People in the UK are moving out of cities to actually live in sort of small holdings of 1 or 2 acres because that is the type of life now that they want to live. And so we need to think about the economics of a crowded planet. We need to think about how we can all be green, from green base stations to actually creating services which actually are going to enable people to reduce their carbon footprints. Maybe the mobile 3G health thing is one example where rather than traveling to my doctor, I could be talking to him on the mobile phone as well. And I know I've run out of time, so on that note, thank you very much. Cheers.